Hello, welcome back to the garden. Today we're going to be sowing more seeds because that's what we're doing this time of year. If you're a gardener, you're probably already started some seeds. Maybe if you're further up north, you may have your own seed starting station within maybe a basement or a back room or even a windowsill. I have my greenhouse, which is pretty freaking awesome. So happy I have this thing. And I'm growing a lot of stuff because I'm building a garden here, an 1.5 acres in eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8B. And I have a lot of space to fill. So I've been trying to growing a lot of plants from seed. And this week, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. But I'm going to do things a little differently so as to not be as boring maybe as the previous videos. If you found my previous videos boring, I do apologize. If there's anything else you'd like to see right now at this time of year that's maybe growing in the garden, let me know in the comments below. And we'll talk about whatever it is you guys want to see around the garden. But for now, today, we're growing seed. Before we do that, I want to show you something else I've been up to. As you can see, I've gotten one of my birdies beds built. I don't know if I covered this in a previous video or not, but either way, I've gone into my backwoods there and I've gathered up a bunch of fallen branches and logs and whatnot, and I've started filling the bottom of the bed. Next, I'm going to be putting in wood chips. That's a whole nother project for another day. Maybe I'll start it today. I don't know. We'll see. But that's another project for another day. But I'll probably fill that to within about, let's say 8 inches of the top. And then I'll be putting in raised bed mix. I'm going to start prattling now and start showing you what we're planting today. And I almost forgot to mention, this is some of the raised bed mix that was in the prior wood raised bed that was over there. I just moved it over here. I removed it, put it here. Once I get all the wood chips and stuff in place, this stuff will go back, and therefore, hopefully, maybe I won't have to add as much raised bed mix to the raised bed, because this is really good stuff here. So, all right, now let's get to sowing seeds. Okay, so one of my goals, which I don't know if I even mentioned in my prior videos on seed sowing, was not to overdo it. And it's so easy to overdo it. So, for instance, last year, I grew trays and trays and trays of foxglove and agastache and daisies and a bunch of other things I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. But nonetheless, it took up a lot of space here in the greenhouse. And though I have room, one of the things I found myself doing at the end of last year was scrambling for some room, especially towards the beginning to middle of springtime when a lot of plants were transplanted from the seed trays into cups. Now cups or pots wound up taking up yet even more space. So some of the stuff wound up migrating outside sooner than it maybe should have. I don't think I really lost anything to a freeze or a frost, which was good. But nonetheless, it was a scramble, and then I was giving away lots and lots and lots of plants, which my friends and neighbors and nieces were all very thrilled about. But unfortunately, like I said, it was a little too much. So this year I'm going to try to keep it under control. So for instance, the first thing I'm going to be planting is Sweet William. Never grown Sweet William before. I don't know how it's going to do down here. So I'm just going to do a little small pot like this. See what germinates, see what doesn't germinate, how it grows. Maybe I'll only grow 4 to 6 plants, and that's fine. And then if they do really well, then next year I could do maybe a small tray if I really like them and go from there. The next one I'm going to do is Cleome? How do you pronounce that? White Queen. I tried growing like an entire tray of this last year in my seed starting station in the garage. Unfortunately, the mice turned around and ate the whole thing. So this year, again, not wanting to get crazy, I'm just gonna, especially since I've never really grown this before and I don't know how well it's gonna perform in the garden, I'm just gonna plant some seeds into a small cup again and see what happens. Do they germinate? How do they germinate? And once they start getting to a certain size, I can prick them out of here and plant them into larger cups. The next seeds I'm gonna sow is lavender, and I'm going to try 2 different types. Now I've grown lavender here before with mixed and not great results. So, glutton for punishment, I'm going to try again. First I'm going to try lavender hit coat, and the other one I'm going to try is English lavender. I think I started both these as well last year in my seed starting station in the garage, but sadly again the mice have gotten to them. Now what I'm going to do is I'll plant one into a, I don't know, what is this, 4.5-inch pot? And the other variety I'll start in a little cup like this as well. If they do germinate and they start growing well, again, I can prick them out of these smaller containers to put them into their own individual and bigger pots. The next one I'm going to do is African Daisy Polar Star. Now, I've never grown this variety before, but I do love daisies. It is a unique, has a unique sort of like purple center there. Really like that. So what I'm going to do with these is plant them into a bigger tray because they're bigger seeds and I want a bunch of them. Okay, the last seeds I'm going to plant today are two different types of dahlias. One is a mix called Bishop's Children, and according to the picture and my memory, they have a dark stem and orangish reddish flowers. Now, I grew some of those last year into this pot here, and here are some of the tubers. And here's another tuber, or set of tubers. Either way, I'm going to go through, clean these up, and then pot them up into smaller pots that then once they start sprouting and coming to life in the next, I don't know, month or so, then what I'll do is I will plant them out into the dahlia garden or elsewhere in the flower garden itself. But the seeds that I'm going to start this year, I'll be sowing them in this pot, and I will use this pot to hold open the greenhouse door because just lovely thing of flowers, just nice holding up the door, and door's got to stay open anyway. So, and then let me show you what we're going to do next. And the last batch I'm going to do is a dahlia seed mix that I started last year. Same situation in a large terracotta pot. I have yet to dig them up, but I'm not going to because I'm getting low on potting soil here. And they grew quite well. According to the label, it says they were mostly open-centered types in random sizes and colors. I don't exactly remember. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to plant them into these smaller pink cups here, and then eventually they'll wind up going out into the garden in various places. I'd probably like to put a few out in the front of the house flower gardens, because I think I have one or two there, but we'll see what happens. So yes, I didn't show you how I was exactly sowing all of those seeds. Today I just kind of wanted to show you what I was sowing and what I was sowing it in. If you want to see how I sow some of my seeds, I've got a couple other videos, or leave comments below and maybe I'll go over that again in an upcoming video. But today I just kind of wanted to show you what I was sowing now in, what are we, mid-February? In preparation for the spring. I just didn't want to go, I don't want to go overboard so much this year because there's a wide variety of things that I do want to plant. Now that may come back to bite me in the butt later in the season when I have huge gaps in the garden, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And there's still a lot of stuff that I intend on sowing directly into the ground that I can't do until obviously until after the last frost passes. So there's still so much more to plant, and a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be planting in the ground, I'm probably going to do large areas or contained swaths maybe. We'll have to wait and see. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified of when I do post up a new video, and this way you can follow along with my antics, see what I'm planting next. Again, if you have any questions or comments, anything like that, please leave them below. Sophie here would very much appreciate it, and as you can see, she's gotten a haircut. She's not such a scruffy puppy anymore, so that's a good thing. And as the weather gets warmer, a short haircut is always a good thing here. When the heat of the summer comes along, she will be spending a lot of time indoors in the air conditioning. Thank you to any and all new subscribers to the channel. Hopefully I can keep you entertained and amazed as to what I'm doing here. And that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.